it's Evelyn Alexander with Magellan College Counseling. I want to talk to you today about two pitfalls that you might run into as a parent as your child goes through the college application process. The first one is making assumptions. Assumptions that your child will be admitted to a school where the average, your child's grades and test scores are above the average admitted grades and test scores. And the problem is that college admissions has become very unpredictable today, and colleges will be the first to tell you that they use a holistic method in selecting the students that they'll admit. And what holistic really means is there will be kids with lower grades and lower test scores than your child who will be admitted to schools where your child is either waitlisted or denied. This is extraordinarily frustrating, and I've had numerous phone calls and emails over the past week as we've gotten decisions from parents who said, I don't know what we did wrong. We just assumed with these numbers that he or she would get into XYZ school. And it's disappointing if you have your hopes pinned on a particular school. And honestly, that's why we go through the process the way we go through it, which is to help students see that there's literally 2,200 colleges out there. They don't all have fancy names, but you could be happy at so many of them. And we really try hard to get kids to have a broad list with some reach, some target, some safe. It really, really hurts to see your child get a rejection letter or more than one. I got a text from someone today whose daughter got 4 rejection letters yesterday, all on the same day. This could be really difficult and painful for you and for your child if you go through it assuming that they'll be admitted. Remember what we used to say about assume. The other thing that is a huge pitfall for parents is the money side. And I know you're already concerned about paying for college, but here's a little sticking point where it actually could be worse than you think. So you need to have a conversation with your child about how much you are willing to spend on college. And as your child builds his or her college list, you need to research if these colleges meet financial need, if you have a demonstrated need, and I'll put a little link below this video to the expected family contribution calculator on the College Board's website. I'll also put a link to my financial aid webinar, which is a much longer version of what I want to say here. And you really need to go into this on the financial side with your eyes wide open and clearly communicating with your child. So I'll tell you what prompted me to make this video. I got a call yesterday from a mom. I didn't work with this child. The son got into both UCLA and USC. Fabulous accomplishment. But USC is literally twice as much as UCLA. USC is about $73,000 a year, and UCLA is closer to $35,000. And of course, the boy has his heart set on USC. And the mom said to me, but USC didn't give us any financial aid or any merit aid. Well, here's the thing. USC only gives merit aid to a teeny tiny group of students, and basically only to national merit finalists. So if you're not a national merit finalist, you're probably not going to get money from USC. And she asked me if she should appeal. Of course, you can always appeal, but it's an amazing accomplishment to get into USC these days, and everybody who is admitted has those amazing stats. So it's very, very difficult for them to award merit aid, as it is for many top-notch schools, which is why USC's philosophy is we're giving our merit aid to national merit finalists. At other top schools, schools, highly ranked schools whose names I won't say any of them, they don't give any merit aid. They give all of their money to families with demonstrated financial need. So if you have a limit on how much money you are able and willing to spend for college, you need to let your child know this is our limit, and we're not going to let you apply to schools where we know it's going to cost more than that. My analogy for this is if you can't afford a house that costs $3 million, you're probably not going to open houses and looking at houses that are $3 million, right? You know what your limit is. And wanting to go there and wanting to live in that house doesn't make it happen. And the unfortunate position that this could put you in is getting to this point where this mom was yesterday, where her son did everything they told him to do. everything they expected him to do, and he was rewarded with an admission. He got in, and now they have to have the conversation with him and say to him, sweetie, you did everything we told you to do. Congratulations, but we're not willing to pay for it. That's a very, very difficult conversation to have with your child. So the truth is, the way to avoid having that conversation with your child is just don't let him apply. I know that sounds crazy, but some colleges have a track record of not giving merit aid. And if you are not willing to spend that top end for college, which clearly you don't have to, we're here to give you many, many other choices, then you really shouldn't let them apply. So I hope this is helpful. I'm going to post those 2 links right below this video. And hopefully, if you're the parent of a 10th or 11th grader, this gives you a little bit of a feel for why the list is so important. We always tell people there's money in the list, but there's also a lot of pitfalls in the list if you don't make it properly. So if you need help making that list, that's the part we love. We're happy to help. If not, if you're going to make your own list, please go into it with an open mind about the quality of education and your child's experience. Do not assume that they'll be admitted anywhere, because these days nothing is predictable, and be very, very aware of costs. So hope this helps. Good luck.